What's up, Fox Den Fox here, and today I have my favorite graphics card of all time. I made a video like this a few months back when I got my very first 9 series graphics card, and I've slowly made my way up, saving money, selling objects to get the penultimate graphics card. This is the GTX 980, and we are going to open it up right here. As far as I know, this is an EVGA model, which wouldn't have been my first pick because I've had EVGA stuff all my life. But at the end of the day, it's still a GTX 980, so I am absolutely ready to have a GTX 980 in my collection after so long. Oh. Well, credit to the person who sold this. It was very well packaged. And I must have gotten lucky because this wasn't extremely overpriced. I spent $240 on this, which is still over the odds. I would say that a GTX 980 should be going for about $200, but 9 series graphics cards are tending to still be a bit less inflated than major 10 series or 20 series graphics cards. I don't even know how you open this thing. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you're in the used market, looking for a GTX 1060, if you see a GTX 980 for cheaper, just get the GTX 980. It'll perform about 7% better on average. And here it is. Oh, okay, I take it back about EVGA. Wow. Holy shit, this thing is beautiful. I hope it works. Obviously, that's a gamble on eBay, and I've had a pretty bad string of luck in terms of graphics cards on eBay, but this is incredible. Obviously, I'm going to be showing some B-roll footage as well, but this thing is amazing. So, let's talk about the specs. So, the GTX 980 has a base clock of 1127 megahertz with a boost clock of 1216 megahertz. It has a 1753 megahertz memory clock, 4 gigs of GDDR5 memory, 2048 shader units, requires 2 6-pin connectors, and has a TDP of 165 watts. So getting into the benchmarks, Black Ops Cold War ran at 77 FPS with a 1% low of 49 frames per second and a 0.1% low of 5. However, I don't know where that 5 came from because the game was incredibly smooth throughout. We were playing at a mix between medium and high settings, and this card absolutely decimated, and it was amazing. So a very good result here. Watch Dogs Legion next, with just running around doing some Parcel Fox missions. We averaged 64 FPS on the medium settings at 1080p with a 1% low of 40 and a 0.1% low of 31. So once more, a fantastic showing. Assassin's Creed Valhalla, with most of the settings on high and some post-processing effects on medium, ran at 51 FPS in the benchmark with a 1% low of 38 and a 0.1% low of 10. Doom Eternal next, and with everything on Ultra Nightmare except for the texture pool size, we averaged 75.4 frames per second. I cannot believe how optimized this game is, but it's also a testament to the graphics card as to how well it has been holding up over the years as well. There will be some moments of slowdown in Doom Eternal. As you get into outside areas, the frame rate does tend to dip. However, it went right back up, and this is common with all graphics cards. I wouldn't really advise even turning the settings down. It's still played perfectly fine at these settings. Going into the much more demanding Cyberpunk 2077, and I want to put an asterisk on the side because on the external hard drive that I use to load these games, I do not know if my Cyberpunk is up to date, and I don't know if they have had updates that have helped with performance since I last updated it, so take it with a grain of salt, although I don't think they've had much in terms of updating thanks to their little debacle. But with the low settings at 1080p, the average frame rate was 42.5 FPS. This was between a mixture of walking in Night City and walking out into the Badlands to get my fucking car back. And of course, I wanted to benchmark some games from the time. So Grand Theft Auto 5 first. In the online mode, we averaged 60.3 FPS, and that was with everything on the highest possible settings except for MSAA, which was at ×4. Otherwise, we had everything on Ultra, and again, this was a very great experience. We had a 1% low of 41 and a 0.1% low of 34.5, and it ran really well. Skyrim next, and I know you're looking at that 0.1% low going, what happened there? But Skyrim is Skyrim. If you go into menus or load into things, your frame rate will tank down to 0 briefly, so it takes the 0.1% load down. However, in actual gameplay, I did not see anything below 60 FPS. Even if the 1% low did return with 59.1, I actually did not ever see MSI Afterburner drop below 60 unless we were in a loading screen. And I didn't expect anything less with Fallout 4, which also ran at a very solid 60 FPS with the ultra settings. I do not like Fallout 4. Which is why I spent 40 minutes recording me picking locks in the starting area, because that was just all I knew how to do. So that is the EVGA GTX 980. This is super clocked, so it will perform slightly better than a regular Founders Edition 980 unoverclocked, but I didn't do any regular overclocking myself. I just wanted to see what this was like, and I am so glad that it runs very well. And even right now on eBay with the hyperinflated prices that we have going on, these generally go cheaper than a 1060, and it's not even a question. I understand that having 4 gigs of VRAM is a red flag in 2021, but the 4 gigs of VRAM don't really matter yet. Even in Cyberpunk, it runs okay. And that was the only game that really gave this thing a challenge. Otherwise, you don't need to worry about it. If you're going against this or a 6 gig 1060 even, this should be your choice. It performs better than a 6 gig 1060, and right now on eBay is marginally cheaper. So take a look, and I definitely recommend getting a GTX 980. And I am a little biased towards this card, just because, I don't know why, but the GTX 980 just holds such a significant place, I feel like. Even if it's not just in my life, but like a lot of big YouTubers started on this card. A lot of people still use this card just because it is so good. There's no point to upgrade unless you can get your hands on a 3080. But if you can't, you don't need to worry about it with a 980. This thing is still a good 1440p performer, even if I didn't showcase that in this video. If you want to see a 1440p benchmark, let me know down below, of course. But that is what I have to say for this card. Thank you so much for watching this video. Like, subscribe, do what you usually do, and as always, buy yourself something nice.